In the Middle East, it is increasingly clear that, like its security forces and its neighbors, the Israeli defense forces are facing a completely new kind of challenge. It's not from guns or the threat of terror tunnels from Gaza, but rather from the power of a cell phone camera.
I-24 News senior defense correspondent Shai Ben-Ari shows us how the Israeli army is continually adapting to the age of social media and how it puts the ethics of the defense force in the spotlight.
The rise of social media in the 21st century has made conflict, war, and strife more visible than ever. But are these images an honest reflection of reality? In Israel and the West Bank, where practically every street and building is fitted with security cameras, and where almost everyone carries a smartphone, little goes unnoticed. Aidel Tamimi, a 16-year-old Palestinian girl, was filmed earlier this month while trying to provoke an Israeli army officer. She was eventually arrested days later and has since become famous around the world, even as she remains in Israeli custody. She's expected to eventually face charges. The use of her video on social media is among the issues being examined, according to her attorney.
Police are saying that Facebook Live actually is a stronger form of incitement because they can actually bring people to commit offenses when they were shooting the film. But that will open the questions like, is a reporter filming live any kind of demonstration or protest or whatever, are they also liable of any crime?
We are under occupation. This is the normal react against occupation. I am proud of what my daughter do. I am so worried about her because our enemy is not a human.
But many have in fact pointed to the humane conduct of the Israeli officer, with some even criticizing it. Professor Asa Kasher is the author of the Israeli Army's Code of Conduct.
If a girl just talks to you, shouts at you, screams at you, you can go on accomplishing your mission, that's no problem. But the moment she touches you, that's an interference. That's a point where the reaction should have been different. What would have happened in the street if it were a police officer? The streets of Tel Aviv, the streets of whatever, New York, LA, London, or Paris. I mean, within a minute she would be on the ground with her hands cuffed by the officer, taken to custody.
One criticism heard in sections of the Israeli right is that incidents like this one and others project a lack of Israeli deterrence. Not everyone agrees, though. Dimitri Emanuel is an officer in the Israeli border police.
Deterrence comes through professionalism, not through raising your hand against a child or a girl, or putting on a tough guy face or putting out some video.
Other videos found online show Israeli operations in a much different light. For the past 10 years, the B'Tselem organization has been running its so-called camera project, through which cameras are distributed to Palestinians in the West Bank, so that they can document what the group calls the routine of occupation. Hundreds of these videos have been posted on social media accounts. The most famous one, from March of 2016, captured the shooting of an already disarmed Palestinian assailant by Israeli soldier Elor Azaria.
Unfortunately, a lot of those visual materials are cut, and unfortunately they are put out incorrect, indirectly, and are misleading the public in many ways.
Major Almog Halevsky is an Israeli army officer who has served for years in the West Bank.
We wouldn't speak about this 5, 6, 7 years ago. As a company commander, I wouldn't say to my soldiers, be careful that it doesn't go up on Facebook or look out for people filming. If we manage to neutralize some threat, but the surrounding circumstances are such that they create a new climate which can actually inspire a new attack, then we haven't really completed the mission.
While there is certainly more footage and more images out there than ever before, it seems the overall picture remains incomplete. Shai Ben-Ari, I-24 News.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a game changer, right? Cell phones, social media, in every conflict, but in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in particular.
Where do you come down on this? I mean, your sense that it's a good thing to show restraint, or that it shows weakness by not reacting the way a police officer anywhere around the world would react?
It unnecessarily always portrays the IDF in a bad way, I think, with Ihad Tamimi, the Palestinian girl that tried to provoke that soldier. The comments on social media were much different if we're talking about Palestinian social media and other Arab social media, because there were many comments, David, that saying what would have happened to this girl if this very same thing happened had she tried to provoke a Syrian security official, or any security official in any other Arab country. And this is what people said on Arab social media. I'm not talking about Israeli social media. So it's interesting.
In other words, Arab social media saying that the Israelis were weak, that they should have been much tougher in dealing with her, whereas the Palestinians saying, oh, good for her, and
they were
shame on the Israelis for arresting her. She didn't do anything.
Yeah, one thing is for sure. It created a huge debate within Israel, but also outside of Israel.
So interesting.
Well, and these two stories of Elor Azaria and Ihad Tamimi, if it wasn't for social media and those cameras and cell phones, we wouldn't have been talking about them, I think, right now, right?
And we might not have been talking for the last couple of years in the United States about police brutality and Black Lives Matter had it not been for people with social media capturing some arrests where there was controversy.
Right. And back in New York, the police are not taking any chances ahead of New Year's Eve celebrations. Although there are no specific threats, protecting against terrorist activity is of the highest priority.
Security will be among the tightest ever, with a range of new measures in place, including snipers, helicopters, and electronic scanners. Tara Palmieri has the story.
Nowhere is New Year's Eve celebrated like it is in Times Square. More than 1 million people are expected to pack the streets right in the heart of New York City. The NYPD taking extraordinary steps. They've closed off a wider perimeter this year than ever before. There are heavily armed police officers at multiple checkpoints.
Look, we have cop cars all over the place. There you go, there you go, there you go.
The police commissioner gave ABC's Gio Benitez a rare look at some of the 10,000 cameras keeping a watchful eye. On high-rises, snipers are ready to act with pinpoint focus. And in the air, helicopters are lasering in on the crowd.
Instead of just counting floors, there's a system in place where we'll be able to identify quickly if we're on the 12th floor or the 22nd or 32nd floor of a building.
Crime in New York City is at the lowest level since the 1950s, but in light of the Halloween truck attack on a bike lane in Lower Manhattan and December's bomber in the subway, they're taking no chances. Other cities are ramping up security too. Following the Las Vegas concert attack that left 58 dead and hundreds injured, the city is adding barricades and doubling police. In Philadelphia,
we have all hands on deck.
In Boston.
There'll be extra police on the street.
And San Francisco.
We will be very, very heavily deployed on New Year's Eve.
Officials from coast to coast refusing to take any chances.
Well, that was Tara Palmieri reporting. You live about the closest to Times Square of anybody on the staff. What are you going to do Sunday night?
I think I'm just going to stay here, sit here, turn the chair around and just wait, reserve my best spot overlooking what's happening.
It'll be fun. Good luck getting into the building. It's going to be a lockdown.
Hopefully everything will be quiet.
Yeah. Just ahead, we'll take a look back at some of the remarkable stories of 2017 and a little look into the future of 2018 when Crossroads continues.
Cheers.